One more thing. What does a finals appearance mean for Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving? I'm going to tell you right now.
I'm here because I have to be here.
Dallas is going to get a seat at the table.
That's it. It's me versus the machine. Don't let his whiteness take away from his quickness.
You can rest later. You're young.
I never recovered beer.
Wait. One more thing.
Yeah, welcome. You're still locked on to the Dallas Mavericks. My name is Nick Angstadt, media member and your best friend covering the Dallas Mavericks on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. This episode is brought to you by Prize Picks, the easiest, most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnNBA. Use that code, all lowercase, LockedOnNBA for a first deposit match up to $100. It's one more thing. It's a bonus episode of Locked On Mavs, where we talk about a finals appearance and what it means for Luka and Kyrie. Could not have timed that better. Could not have timed that better. We'll talk about what a finals appearance means for Luka and for Kyrie. I guess we can let the one more thing music ride. It's kind of nice. Okay, break it down. I'm into it. Some of you were concerned that this was going to replace the Let It Ride music. I couldn't do that to you in the middle of the run. Couldn't do that to you in the middle of a playoff run. Luka Doncic, an NBA Finals appearance. The most important thing it does for Luka Doncic is no longer can anyone on the internet with an avatar that is Devin Booker, a Phoenix Sun player, the Phoenix Suns logo, an old photo of Mikal Bridges in a Phoenix Suns jersey. No longer can any of those accounts, people, bots, whoever, say Luka's never been to the finals, but Booker has. Where's Luka's finals appearance? That's the most important thing. That's the most important thing. Of course. That's the thing Luka cares about the most. It's not. To me, I think I've been talking about this all over the place. I went on 105.3 The Fan with Reggie and with those guys to talk about the Mavs in the finals. I went in studio, and one of the things that I was asked about was why there's so much love for Anthony Edwards and so much, like, it seemed like so much hate for Luka Doncic going into that run. This has been my thing for a long time. Every star in the NBA has an arc, a character arc, just like in movies, TV shows, novels, whatever, life. Everyone's got an arc, and every star follows the exact same arc. It doesn't matter. Some of them fall off the arc at a certain point because they stop becoming a superstar, or we realize that maybe we anointed them too fast or whatever. But they all follow the same arc. And if they get through the whole arc, then you're a real superstar. And LeBron has gotten there. Durant has gotten there. Steph Curry at times kind of skated around it. But it starts down here where you're the young guy. You're exciting, interesting. Everybody's for you. Everybody starts rooting for you. Everyone is over-validating you. Luka in the 2020 playoffs against the Clippers. Oh my God. Luka and nobody just took the Clippers to 6 games? That Clippers team that was supposed to be the title favorites? Next year, Luka took Boban in 3 games. Like Boban and Trey Burke. 7 games against that Clippers team with a healthy Kawhi Leonard. And all of a sudden, he's the next guy. He's MVP favorite the next year. Luka, MVP favorite 3 years in a row. He's the next thing talked about. Bill Simmons is putting him number 1 on his trade value column list, right? And all of a sudden, you're the next big thing. That's where Anthony Edwards is right now. Now, maybe his star has been a little tarnished because of the Western Conference Finals, but before the Western Conference Finals started, Anthony Edwards was that guy. He was the it guy. The next guy that was in this arc. The next part of your arc is when all of a sudden the expectations start to come. All right, we've seen you be good. We've seen you be good in the playoff series. Now win. Now win. Now go win a playoff series. Now go win the Western Conference. Now go win the NBA Finals. Now go show us. Giannis got to that point. Now go win. Okay, he did. 50 points in a finals game. Insane. And then when you get there, when Giannis got to that point, he validated all the things that people had said previously about him. He went to the next stage of his arc, which is the skating on reputation part, where all of a sudden you can't be questioned. Who's questioning Giannis? Who's questioning Jokic right now? Can't. Who questioned Kawhi for years after he won that finals? Couldn't question him. And then all of a sudden you get to the next part of the arc where like LeBron and KD are like, when are you going to do something again? What have you done for me lately? My title was a long time ago. You only won titles with Steph Curry. It's like, and Steph Curry kind of got to that point and they were missing the playoffs. And then all of a sudden he went on this run and they won the finals in 2022. And then he got to the part where you skate off into the sunset. Now he can do whatever you want. LeBron's kind of in that same place right now. He's won a bunch. He's proven everything to everyone. He's only facing himself and ghosts. It's his only competition. So Luka, to me, is at the point where he is being like there's expectations for him, and he was not meeting those expectations. And as soon as Luka started to reach that point where we started to have expectations for him, the Mavs missed the entire postseason. And when the Mavs missed the entire postseason, Luka's whining became a bigger deal than it really was. Luka's conditioning became a bigger deal than it really was. All of a sudden, nobody wants to play with Luka anymore. There's scouts coming out and saying, "Oh, when Luka Doncic sits during a game, all of his teammates breathe a sigh of relief." Thank God. There's articles written. Does Luka really impact winning? I've done lots of shows with Howard Beck. Love me some Howard Beck. But it was an insulting question. Does Luka impact winning? And the premise of his article was that a former analytics guy not Haralabab, a former staffer for the Mavericks was questioning about the on-off numbers. And Luka's on-off numbers have been disproportionate. He's not Jokic, where all of a sudden his numbers on-off are like, oh my God, the Nuggets are terrible when Jokic sits and they're amazing when he plays. Mavs have never kind of been that way. But you can't question that Luka impacts winning. Look at the 2022 run. Look at the wins against the Clippers in the playoffs before. And now look at this run. And I think that this run and making the finals, even if the Mavericks just get swept, it's a redemption for last season. Making up for lost love. Making up for lost time. If the Mavericks had gotten to the second round last year and this year, wouldn't have been the same as making the finals this year. He got a redemption for what happened last year, and it'll be wiped away. It'll be looked at as a blip. Oh my God. What happened that year? We'll just start looking back at the history books and go, okay, so Luka made the Western Conference Finals. They missed the whole postseason the next year, and then they go to the finals the year after that. It's gonna be one of the weirdest things we look back on. The redemption arc for Luka. The redemption for last season. He's already earned it, but if he wins the finals, it erases everything. The whining, the conditioning, does he impact winning? The on-off numbers, whatever you want. Do players like playing with him? If he wins the title, unassailable. Same way Giannis was, same way Kawhi was, same way Jokic is. Unassailable. The next thing to me, I think, is that it confirms that Luka is a playoff riser. He rises to the next level in the playoffs. And I want to talk about that and what I mean by that coming up. Let's talk about that in a second. Today's episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. Prize Picks is daily fantasy made easy. All you have to do is go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnNBA. Put $100 into your account. Use that promo code LockedOnNBA. You get a first deposit match up to $100. So I guess you could put $5 in. They'll match at $5. $50 and they'll match $50. But get the whole 100. Get your whole 100 in there. Right now they have all kinds of stuff for the NBA Finals. They have stuff for NHL, MLB, soccer, WNBA. They have stuff too for WNBA. They have any wing stuff? I want Dallas wing stuff. They don't have any right now. Caitlin Clark against the Chicago Sky. 20 points, more or less. Give me more, 20 points. 6.5 assists. Give me less than 6.5 assists on that. If I just want to play those two, let's just say I want to play just the Caitlin Clark odds. Put down $20, I can win 60. If I put down 10, I can win 30. It's fun. Watch Caitlin Clark. See if she hits on the point, see if she hits on the assist. Go check that out. PrizePicks.com/LockedOnNBA. Again, first deposit match up to $100. PrizePicks.com/LockedOnNBA. Yeah. Thanks for hanging out with me on Locked On Mavs. The one more thing, being part of the show, part of the Raccoon Squad, listening every day. Appreciate each and every one of you. If you want to support the show even further, subscribe to the subtext. Get text straight to your phone, extra content. Get the podcast. As soon as I'm done with it, I text it right to you. So you know exactly when the podcast is sent. Like I said, more content, things like that. I answer questions on there. Subscribe to Subtext, click the link in the description, or text the number. It's on the screen or in the description as well. What a finals appearance does for Luka, we talked about the redemption arc for the star. It confirms that he's a playoff riser. I didn't need this to be confirmed to me. You probably listening to a daily Mavericks podcast, you listening to a bonus episode of a daily Dallas Mavericks podcast, you definitely didn't need that Luka is a playoff riser confirmed to you, but it confirms to everyone else. Everyone that is a non-daily, twice daily Dallas Mavericks podcast listener, love you all, confirms that he's a playoff riser, confirms that he is a guy that steps up in the playoffs. Can't question it anymore. Made the Western Conference Finals with Dwight Powell as the starting center. Made the NBA Finals with Kyrie Irving, who people say nobody could win with a rookie center, with the Wizards starting center, with the Hornets backup wing. PJ Washington wasn't even starting every game for the Hornets. With a back end rotation player for the Chicago Bulls in Derrick Jones Jr. Like, that's the crew that he won with. That's the crew he made it to the finals with. We look at all of them and love them all individually and love them all in a great way.
It's great. It's great, dude. Dude, it's great.
But not everybody sees them the same way. And all those people that see the Mavericks players and the Mavericks cast that exact same way, they'll start validating those players, but they also have to look at Luka and say he's a playoff riser. I also think that in a way, this finals run validates the 2022 run. It's not going to be looked at as an aberration anymore. Think about what Trae Young and the Hawks did. They go to the Eastern Conference Finals, and you're like, oh, okay, Trae Young, Hawks, let's go. And now all of a sudden you go, oh man, Trae Young and the Hawks? Trae Young and the Hawks made the Eastern Conference Finals? And like, admit it, you look at it a little differently than when you did before. They lost in the first round. And then they didn't. Then they lost in the play-in. And you're like, was that just such an aberration that they made? They were, an okay team that year, but they made the Eastern Conference Finals. And now we look back after a couple years of playoff failures, and you go, oh man, that was kind of a blip. You can't look at the 2022 run anymore and say it's a blip because now Luka's made the finals. Now it validates that 2022 run, which I really appreciate because that run was so special. I love the guys on that team. Luka, Brunson, the Bang Bros with Dorian Finney-Smith and Reggie Bullock. It was just a really special group. Dinwiddie, some great guys. Let's talk about a playoff riser and talk about impacting winning. Every single year in the playoffs, Luka has won more games than the year before. 2 wins against the Clippers in 2020, 3 wins against the Clippers in 2021, 7 wins total, and two wins without him, but 7 wins total in 2022, and now 12 wins in this run. Huge. He has more wins every single playoffs he's entered. He impacts winning. For Kyrie Irving.
Touche.
For Kyrie Irving, I think that an NBA Finals appearance is a Kobe Bryant 2009 type moment. Maybe it's the 2008 one. We don't know the outcome of the finals just yet. When Shaquille O'Neal got traded away from the Lakers to the Miami Heat, Kobe Bryant desperately, more than anything, wanted to prove that he wasn't just Shaq's sidekick, to prove that he was something without Shaq. They had jabs at each other in the media. They had jabs at each other in the parade that the Heat had. And when Kobe Bryant won the title in 2009, it was such a validating moment for him. I won without Shaq. Now, Kyrie's not going to win as the best player, so he's not going to do the full Kobe. But he is going to have a tight moment. That's what I mean. A Kobe Bryant 2009 tight moment where he made it there. All of a sudden, you make it to the finals. And all of a sudden, you say, man, I just went to the NBA Finals without LeBron James. Validates his career outside of LeBron James' shadow. Because up until this point, you go, let's look back at Kyrie's career. Okay, so he made the finals those, 3-4 years with the Cavs. They won in 2016, hit one of the greatest shots in NBA history, had 40 points in a Game 7 in the NBA Finals. Amazing. But what did he do without LeBron? And then you start going, okay, well, he really hasn't been that good in the playoffs without LeBron. And now you look at it and go, he has. He's been great in this run. Struggled in the Thunder series, but great in the Timberwolves series, great in the Clippers series. We'll see what happens in the NBA Finals. But it's a Kobe Bryant 2009 type moment for Kyrie right now. Amazing. In that same kind of vein, it's an opportunity for redemption for him. He's playing against the Boston Celtics. This is a team that he went to. Team where he was at a event for school children at a school. They asked him if he was going to re-sign. He said yes, and then he didn't and left. They are not going to like him there. They do not care for him there. It's an opportunity for redemption there. It's an opportunity for vengeance in sort of a way. He'll never say that. He'll never admit that in any way, shape, or form. But it is that. They were questioning if he cared about basketball as much as he cared about his other interests. It's an opportunity for redemption for Kyrie to show others and to show people, to say, I do care about basketball as much. This is the thing for me. And I think Kyrie's done a great job being a leader. We've talked about how Kyrie has stepped up as a leader this season. How Kyrie looked at last season, tried to learn from it, and say, let me step up, let me be the leader. And man, every single player on the Mavs roster has mentioned Kyrie as a leader at some point this season. The Kyrie stands are going to have a hard time with this one. It's an opportunity for image refurbishment for Kyrie Irving in the finals. I think he's already got some of it. I think a finals appearance does this for Kyrie for sure. But Kyrie had an image problem coming to the Mavericks, a basketball image problem. Mark Cuban does not sit down with Kyrie Irving after he re-signs the Mavericks and go, hey man, this may be your last shot. This may be your last opportunity for a real check, for real money. It was before he re-signed, by the way. It was when the Mavericks traded for him. Mark Cuban had sat down with him and had this meeting with him. He said, hey man, this is probably your last chance to show yourself in the NBA, because teams are not going to want to take on whatever it is that you're doing right now. There were distractions. He was a flight risk. He asked for he demanded trades. He was the one that asked for a trade from the Nets, not Kevin Durant first. Well, let me put that a different way. Kevin Durant asked for it first, didn't get it, and then Kyrie asked for a trade, and he got one. There's an opportunity for an image refurbishment for Kyrie. He's in a great place. He's been awesome. He stepped up in a huge way. And if they go and win the finals, does it erase everything from before? Probably not for everybody. You know the people that are not going to forget about some of the things that Kyrie Irving did, said, all that. Many of them grew up in the Boston area. But it's an opportunity for image refurbishment. I think he's already doing that right now. And I think that Cuban meeting that he had with him when he first got traded to the Mavericks, I think is significant. And it's a significant moment in Kyrie's career that we may look back on and say, man, remember that? Remember when Kyrie had to have that meeting and Cuban felt like he had to tell him, this may be your last chance to really prove yourself, to really get a big contract, to really show someone that you that you really care about basketball, that you're all about winning and all that. I tweeted a tweet from Kyrie responding to Bill Simmons. By the way, I love Bill Simmons. Bill Simmons is one of the reasons why I'm doing this. We make fun of Bill Simmons because he puts himself out there and has crazy takes sometimes and really says things with the fan version of himself. But I just wanted to say that. When Kyrie re-signed with the Mavericks in June of 2023, Bill Simmons said Dallas had to go 3 for 126 for Kyrie because there were at least 3 other teams ready to offer 2 for 25. Basically saying the Mavericks paid a ridiculous amount for Kyrie Irving. Why would they do this? And that's so dumb. The Mavericks are being so dumb for giving Kyrie all this money. Kyrie on Twitter responds, I see you couldn't help yourself with this one, huh, Billy boy? Just want to say I appreciate you and continue to be the person you are. My tribe says hello. Hey-la. Which is how he signs all his tweets. But the fact that Bill Simmons would even say that, the fact that he would go, nobody else wanted to sign Kyrie. Nobody else is going to even, there are teams that only going to give him 2 for 25. And the Mavericks gave him 3 for 126. What a ridiculous thing that they would do. The fact that that was even a thing that he could say that people wouldn't just laugh him off the website for doing proves my point that this is an image refurbishment opportunity for Kyrie. He's already done it. He's been awesome. It's been a great playoff run for Kyrie for sure. The image is already being refurbished right now. But a finals win would be amazing for that. Kyrie may not care about that. You may not care about that as a Kyrie stan. You as a Mavs fan may be just like, okay, whatever. Kyrie, get whatever Kyrie wants. As long as we get a title, I'm fine with that. As a Mavericks fan, I get that. That's fine. But it's interesting, and it's definitely a storyline because it's against the Celtics. People were questioning if he cared about basketball as much as his other interests. He's got a huge opportunity right now to prove that he can win without LeBron James, and he can refurbish his image in a big way. Massive. That's what I think a finals appearance and maybe a finals win could mean for Luka and Kyrie. Thanks for hanging out with me on the One More Thing. We've got more podcasts all throughout the week. I'll have Isaac Harris on. I'll have Dana Larson on. We'll have all kinds of people. John Krause from Locked On Celtics. Guys, thanks so much for listening to Locked On Mavs, the One More Thing.